Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really fascinating area, business management consulting services. If you've ever wondered about those, unseen forces driving company strategy and growth, or how external experts are kind of reshaping whole industries, well, this is for you. We've got this great report here from a cognitive market research, global business consulting market, growth and regional dynamics. And well, our mission today is to unpack these numbers right, see what they really tell us about where business is heading.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting, I think, is we're looking at a sector that isn't just, getting bigger. It's actually evolving. These figures, they give us a pretty clear snapshot of how businesses really all over the world are looking for outside help to navigate what's become a very complex landscape. It's changing so fast.
Okay, so let's start with the big picture then, the sheer scale of it. According to these latest official figures, the global market, just for these services, was valued at, get this, $142.243 billion. That was back in 2021.
Pretty staggering, right?
Yeah, it really is. And it's definitely not slowing down. The projections see it reaching almost $174 billion by 2025. And then a massive, nearly $260 billion by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah. So that works out to a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 5.15% for more than a decade.
Right.
I mean, just to put that in context, that's basically the market almost doubling in size in just 12 years.
Yeah, that's a really robust forecast. It says a lot, doesn't it, about the continuous need for that kind of strategic guidance.
So what's behind that? What's driving it?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
a huge factor, it has to be the relentless pace of digital transformation.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Companies are grappling with AI, automation, cloud migration,
Yeah.
Data analytics, all that stuff. And they often just don't have the specialized expertise in-house to implement these changes
Yeah.
effectively or at the scale needed.
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just plugging in new tech, it's fundamentally rethinking how a business operates. So we're talking about companies needing help with, well, everything from the really high-level strategy and org design down to very specific operational tweaks or, like you said, integrating those new technologies.
Precisely.
Okay, but let's break down where this massive growth is actually happening, geographically. Where should we start? The biggest player.
Yeah, let's start there. And when we talk about dominance, North America really stands out. It accounts for almost half of that entire global market.
Half. Wow.
Yeah. And it's not just about the size. It seems driven by a very mature sort of strategic investment culture within North American businesses.
Sure.
Think about the sheer volume of M&A activity, right? Mergers and acquisitions. That requires huge integration expertise.
Sure.
Plus the continuous focus on operational efficiency in established industries. And, well, they were early adopters of a lot of cutting-edge tech, too.
All right, so it's refinement innovation in already mature markets. The United States, for instance, it's a huge driver within that region, projected to almost double its consulting spend by 2033. And it's not just the U.S., right? Canada and Mexico are also seeing pretty substantial growth. Canada is looking to more than double its market size by 2033.
That's right.
That suggests a really widespread appetite for this kind of external expertise across the whole continent.
Absolutely. And, while North America has that dominant share, what's also really interesting is how other regions are showing slightly different growth stories. Still compelling, just different.
Okay.
Maybe let's shift focus across the Atlantic. Europe.
Oh, Europe. Okay. So their market was nearly $28 billion in 2021, and it's projected to grow to over $47.5 billion by 2033. The UK and Germany look like big contributors there. Germany actually is set to nearly double its consulting market by 2033. That's quite remarkable expansion.
It is.
What does that tell us about the European landscape then?
Well, I think this growth in Europe shows how these, very established economies are still finding immense value in external consulting. It reflects ongoing transformations, needs for efficiency, innovation. But here we see a strong focus maybe on slightly different areas, like sustainability consulting. That's huge in Europe.
Right. ESG and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And regulatory compliance, too, especially given the complex EU landscape. Businesses need help navigating, green transitions, stricter data protection laws like GDPR. Those are major strategic things for them.
That's a great point. Okay, so North America innovating, Europe maybe adapting and refining. But if we're looking for really explosive growth, the report points pretty squarely at Asia Pacific, right?
Oh, absolutely. Asia Pacific is definitely the high growth hotspot. It's boasting a robust TAGR of over 6.2%.
Faster than the global average then.
Yeah, faster than the global average. This region is projected to more than double its market size by 2033. And what's particularly striking here is just the sheer scale of the economies involved, China, India, and their rapid industrialization and digitization efforts.
And China's leading the charge there within Asia-Pacific,
Yeah,
projected to grow significantly.
it is. But here's maybe the real kicker, as you said earlier, India. India is showing the highest growth rate among the major players, projected to almost triple its market size by 2033.
Triple. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then Japan, South Korea, Australia, they're also contributing substantially to this regional boom.
So what's driving India's surge specifically?
Well, this really highlights where a lot of future economic activity and business investments seem to be concentrating. In countries like India and China, we're seeing just unprecedented demand for consulting related to, say, market entry strategies,
Okay.
supply chain optimization, building out that foundational digital infrastructure. They're not just playing catch-up. In many areas, they're actually leapfrogging.
That makes sense. As these economies mature, integrate more globally, they'd need that expert guidance. But it's not just the giants, right? The report also covers South America, the Middle East, and Africa. They're also part of this global picture.
That's right, absolutely. So in South America, the market's set to almost double by 2033. Brazil is the largest contributor there. This kind of highlights a region that's increasingly leveraging strategic advice for economic diversification, maybe navigating tricky commodity price fluctuations.
Well, okay.
And the Middle East, another rapidly expanding market, also projected to nearly double. Countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are leading that growth. What's the story there?
Yeah, the growth in the Middle East, it largely reflects these massive economic diversification efforts, moving away from oil dependency, coupled with huge government-backed projects infrastructure, smart cities.
Right, like NEOM and projects like that.
Exactly. Businesses there are investing heavily in tourism, technology, logistics,
Yeah.
all requiring significant strategic consulting input.
And Africa. Similarly, in Africa, we see promising growth, although, yes, it's from a smaller base currently.
Yeah. The African market is also projected to nearly double by 2033. South Africa is the top contributor, but Nigeria is showing significant expansion too.
Mhm.
It just seems clear that the need for strategic guidance is truly global now, driven by really unique regional challenges, but also opportunities.
It really is a global phenomenon.
So, okay, let's try and pull this together. What does all this mean for you, our listener, trying to understand these global business trends? We've seen a really robust and expanding market for business management consulting, from that huge global valuation back in 2021 to potentially near doubling in just over a decade.
Yeah, and if you connect the dots, these regional and country-specific growth paths, they paint a really vivid picture of where economic activity and business investment are heating up. North America is still, the dominant force. But that remarkable surge in Asia-Pacific, particularly India and China, that really highlights a kind of shifting global economic axis, doesn't it?
It really does.
And the consistent growth we see across Europe, South America, the Middle East, Africa, it just shows this widespread global reliance on external strategic guidance, whether it's for digital transformation, sustainability, market entry, you name it.
It seems clear, yeah. Whether you're talking about mature markets just refining their strategies or emerging economies building up their foundational structures, the demand for expert consulting is it's on a steep upward curve, driven by constant change, increasing complexity.
Which, it raises an interesting question as we look forward. As the business world keeps accelerating, globalizing, and importantly, as AI becomes more sophisticated, how will consulting itself evolve? Will firms become more like deeply integrated partners? Or will their role maybe shift to providing more specialized sort of on-demand strategic bursts?
That's a fascinating thought.
Yeah, maybe something for you to consider. How might this continuous and evolving demand for external expertise actually reshape the very structure of companies themselves in the future?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We grab a whole stack of sources and we'll pull out the key nuggets for you. Today, we're plunging into the business management consulting services market. It's evolving incredibly fast. And look, this isn't just about fancy boardrooms. This sector, it touches everything, right down to the products and services, that you interact with daily. So our mission here is to decode what's happening. We want to really understand the forces driving this market, the challenges it's hitting, and, where it's going. Think of it as a shortcut to getting smart on this vital piece of the business puzzle. We're using official data, expert analysis, all courtesy of cognitive market research.
Exactly. And this matters because, well, tracking these shifts gives you a unique window into the big strategic plays, the challenges, the opportunities facing companies all over the world. It helps you see why businesses suddenly change direction or how they tackle going global and even, what sparks innovation in major industries.
All right, let's unpack this then. When we talk about the sheer growth in consulting, there's one thing that always comes up first: digital transformation. I mean, it's way more than just a buzzword, right? Companies everywhere are scrambling to adopt digital tech. They want to streamline how they work, make customers happier, basically just keep up. But it's not as simple as just plugging in some new software, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. That's the crucial part. Some reports suggest over 70% of these digital projects actually fail. And it's usually not the tech's fault. It's the people stuff. Resistance to change, no clear plan, culture clashes. That's where consultants become, well, indispensable. They're not just tech installers. They're guiding the organization through the change, psychologically almost, making sure it sticks and delivers real value. So they handle the big stuff. Complex cloud moves, crafting entirely new digital roadmaps, rolling out massive enterprise software.
That's a really strong point. It's the human element just as much as the silicon. Okay, so beyond digital, what else is fueling this demand? Agility comes to mind. Businesses need to be nimble, adaptable. I mean, look at the world today. It's volatile. So they need that organizational agility, that strategic flexibility. They have to be ready to pivot, like instantly.
Precisely. Think about it. You've got economic shocks, geopolitical tensions, sudden swings in what customers want. It's constant. So companies are actively looking for that outside help to rethink how they're structured, to manage complex mergers or acquisitions, and, yeah, to pivot quickly when the market demands it. It's really about embedding resilience and speed deep into the company's core.
Yeah.
And often you just need that objective view from the outside.
Okay. Digital agility. What about just plain old growth? Globalization, expanding the business. When companies push into new countries, they hit a wall of new challenges, right? Different laws, cultural hurdles, tangled supply chains. Sounds complicated.
It absolutely can be. A real minefield, as you said. Going international isn't just about finding new buyers. It's a deep dive into risk assessment, figuring out a strategy that actually works locally, finding the right talent in places you don't know. Consulting firms are vital here. They provide that essential guidance to make sure the expansion is, smooth and doesn't run into legal trouble.
So what's really striking is how all these drivers, digital, agility, global reach, they all point to this fundamental, urgent need for specialized outside help. It's moved beyond just doing things differently. Now it's about being strategic, doing it at scale, and using insights maybe your internal team just doesn't have access to yet.
That's the core of it. The complexity and the pace demand that external perspective.
So consultants are clearly in demand, essential even. But here's the flip side. What happens when the very businesses that need them most, maybe smaller companies, SMEs, look at the bill and just gulp? That's where we start seeing some real headwinds, right? It's not all clear skies for this market.
It really isn't. And the high cost, well, it isn't arbitrary. It often reflects the deep intellectual capital, the very specialized, multi-skilled teams you're hiring, and frankly, the scarcity of that top-tier expertise. But you're absolutely right. For a lot of small and medium businesses, that price tag, often billed hourly or tied up in long contracts, it's just too much. It locks them out of getting vital help, especially where budgets are tight.
Which leads perfectly into the next point. Companies are getting smarter internally. They're building up their own capabilities.
Yeah.
We see more businesses thinking, hang on, maybe we can handle this ourselves.
Precisely. And they often can, to a point. You've got much more accessible digital tools now, tons of online resources and training. So many companies are successfully building strong in-house teams for analytics, for strategy work, even for managing pretty complex operations. And naturally, that means they rely less on external consultants over time. It forces consultants to really sharpen their message about the unique value they bring.
That's a direct hit to the traditional model. And then you've got this other major concern, particularly in certain sectors: data privacy, trust. Think about healthcare, finance. Confidentiality is everything. So the idea of sharing really sensitive data with outsiders, that can be a huge barrier.
Oh, it's a massive hurdle.
Yeah.
That reluctance to share proprietary information, it definitely puts a ceiling on how deep the collaboration can go, can even stop long-term partnerships from forming, which, raises a fundamental question. How does this consulting market even adapt when its clients are watching costs like hawks, getting better internally, and getting more protective of their data? It demands a serious rethink of the core value proposition. What are consultants really selling if it's not just information anymore?
So it's like this high stakes game, but maybe some players are now building their own game boards. It forces the consultants to innovate, which actually leads us to some really interesting trends shaping the future here. What are you seeing that stands out?
Well, one of the biggest shifts, undeniably, is how deeply AI and data analytics are being woven into the fabric of consulting. It's shifting from just giving advice to delivering measurable results, quantifiable ROI. Firms using predictive modeling, live dashboards, AI insights. Imagine a consultant using AI to forecast supply chain problems weeks ahead instead of just reacting after the fact. That's a completely different level of value. It seriously upgrades decision-making and tracking performance.
That is a huge shift. Moving from advisor to, well, almost a data-driven performance partner. And alongside that tech integration, it feels like the era of the jack-of-all-trades consultant might be waning. We're seeing more specialization.
Right. Absolutely. A huge surge in niche consulting. Boutique firms that focus laser-like on specific areas are really gaining traction. Think ESG compliance, environmental, social, governance, or digital transformation, specifically for healthcare, or maybe building resilient supply chains. That's where the demand is growing. Clients increasingly want that super targeted expertise for their really specific, complex industry challenges,
Yeah.
rather than a generalist approach. It just gets them to the solution faster and more effectively.
Makes total sense. You wouldn't hire a general practitioner for brain surgery, right?
No.
Okay, and lastly, something the pandemic really kicked into high gear, remote and hybrid ways of working. How's that impacting consulting delivery?
Indeed. The whole post-pandemic landscape is basically normalized virtual collaboration. Consultants can deliver top-tier strategic advice remotely now. And that's not just about cutting travel costs. It massively expands their reach. Suddenly, the best expertise isn't limited by geography. And we're seeing hybrid models becoming the standard, maybe intense in-person workshops for the big strategic thinking, combined with ongoing digital support and collaboration. It offers flexibility and efficiency.
So if you tie all these threads together, the AI, the specialization, the hybrid delivery, it paints a picture of a market that's actively reinventing itself. Would you agree?
Definitely. It's adapting, leveraging tech for deeper insights, offering pinpoint solutions, changing how they deliver value to meet what clients actually need now. And all this while still navigating those core challenges that we talked about: cost, internal capabilities, trust. It's a dynamic space.
So what's the bottom line here for you, our listener? The core message seems clear. The business management consulting market is being reshaped by powerful forces, innovation, global pressures, and this constant need for businesses to adapt. Yes, there are real challenges, high costs, trust issues, but the momentum is with the trends. AI integration, niche expertise, flexible delivery. These are driving the evolution.
And maybe here's something to chew on after we finish. With this ongoing tug of war between the high cost of specialized external advice and businesses getting better internally, what unexpected challenges might pop up, or maybe new opportunities? How might the very idea of value delivered by a consultant continue to shift and morph in the coming years? It feels like they'll need to keep reinventing themselves.
Definitely food for thought. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the business management consulting services market. We appreciate your curiosity. Keep exploring, keep staying informed.